This is dedicated to my girl.
Yo, what's up? This is Dante. So this is the thing. I don't like vlog. I like vlogs. I like reading vlogs, but I don't like doing vlogs. Just watched my man Timothy Delgado's. Shout out to Tim. So I didn't know to talk to cameras. I'm an actor. I'm not used to just talking straight to the camera. And then friends of mine had said maybe I should just do. I should just tell stories. For my YouTube page, just something fun, different than my. My poems and whatnot. So I'm gonna start this whole thing called Hollywood Stories. I've been around town a long time, and I guess you could say I've seen a lot. But so I just tell some stories about Hollywood and about projects I've worked on or people, I know. I won't tell anything too private or too crazy, but just projects and answer some of the questions that I get on Tumblr and on YouTube and stuff like that. So I guess we should start this first thing off with the film that I was known for first, I guess, Hook. So Hook, a lot of people, Steven Spielberg's Hook, a lot of people think it was my first film. It wasn't my first film. At that time I was 15, and I actually been working since I was 10 in town. Films like Perfect Weapon for Paramount Pictures, or like 15 Getting Straight. That's what after school special I did with Drew Barrymore and Corey Feldman. Classic. Steven Spielberg for discovering me, and definitely, doing a Steven Spielberg film is a great introduction into a town and gives you a certain cachet that lasts your whole career, which is awesome. And so I guess shout out to Steven always. Does he need a shout out? Not really. So, Hook, that film, I booked it when I was 15. Actually, the crazy thing about that film, when I look at it in the past, it's like probably the only film that I booked after one audition. I auditioned once, I met with the casting directors, and then the next thing I know, a few days later, I'm in Steven Spielberg's office, and I don't even audition again. I just meet him, and I talk to him, and he ends up offering me the role, and it's so crazy. It still doesn't happen to this day, things like that. But I ended up asking him on the set why he chose me, or why he casted me. And he said out of all the kids, thousands of kids he auditioned during that time, I'm the only kid that scared him. So, I don't know what that means exactly. I guess, I take it as a compliment. At that time in my life, we were living in the neighborhood, a little town called Paramount, California, which is right outside of LA, neighboring to Compton, California, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know about. So maybe just being from an environment that was, somewhat dangerous or whatnot, blue collar and rough around the edges. I wouldn't say it's crazy dangerous. I'd just say it's a neighborhood. I was able to bring that and help me book the job. Beyond that, people always ask about Robin Williams. Amazing guy, loving dude. He took it upon himself to keep the morale of the setup always, and that means he's always cracking jokes, and we do long days. You're doing 14, 16-hour days, longer sometimes, and you have a crew of over 200 people, and people get stressed out. So he's a cat that's always making jokes and keeping the morale and the attitude of the set going, and that's great. And he was all over the place. But a lot of people don't know, when we were just hanging out, me and him, like in the makeup room in the morning, we would talk about poetry, because Dead Poet Society was a big, one of my favorite films at the time, and one of the reasons I started writing poetry back in the day, and I was just starting to write poetry. I was 15, and so we talk a lot about that film in particular, talk a lot about those poets, the Transcendentalist poets, and he has a very soft-spoken side to him, and of course he's incredibly intelligent, and he's just a loving dude. And he always, he just loved that poetry part of me, the poetic part of me. Henceforth, now I do poetry online and Poetry Lounge in LA, and actually my rap gift from when we rapped, my rap gift from Robin Williams was a leather-bound book of Leaves of Grass, Wall Women, and I still have it, and it's awesome. He signed it for me, so that's Robin. Oh, everyone asked about Dustin Hoffman too. Dustin is amazing. What can I say about Dustin Hoffman? The thing about Dustin is he's one of the greatest actors of our time. He's a living legend. Growing up studying acting, I always wanted to be in the line of Marlon Brando and James Dean and Montgomery Clift. And as the 70s came around, actors like Al Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, Robert De Niro, these guys came in with the same lineage of this great acting. And so being able to work with him, it's like definitely working with one of my heroes. I watched all his films, Tootsie, Midnight Cowboy, Kramer vs. Kramer, Lenny. I mean, the list goes on and on. But I watched all of his films, and I would just follow him around the set because it was like you get to work with one of the great ones. It's who gets to do that? I mean, who gets to really work with one of the legends in their field and at such a young age? So I'd go on the set, even the days when I'm not working. I would just show up on set because I wanted to see him work and see him do his thing. And it was invaluable. But one of the little stories I remember about Dustin, beyond him being a great actor, he was just a crazy, his personality, and he's just a mischievous kind of guy, Here's a story, like a quick story of how one of my big memories. So in the middle of shooting Hook, I lose my virginity. I do, not on set or anything like that, but I was a teenager. It's that time in my life. So one of the days, the day after, I end up stopping by set, and I'm not working that day. I'm just gonna go see, Dustin work, where I always end up right by the camera, watching him do his scenes. And in the middle of the scene, he stops and he looks at me and he's like, Rufio. You see, he's a method actor, so he was always a lot in character a lot of the time. He was Captain Hook. Rufio, have you been getting some? And my eyes must have popped open like, what the? I mean, not only is he a great actor, he's also omniscient, I guess. Or maybe, so young, I was just glowing with that. And so he kind of busted my chops. I was like, yeah, I don't even know what I said back. I was so nervous probably. And then he says to me, just remember, it's not the size of the wand, it's the magic it makes. I'll never forget that. Dustin, you're crazy. Yeah, so those are a few quick stories from Hook. There's tons more. I just use this Hollywood Stories segments of my YouTube to answer questions and tell stories about projects I've worked on in the past, friends I've worked with, and just tell you some Hollywood stories. This is Hook. Ask questions underneath. Go to my Tumblr, ask me questions, tweet me, whatnot, and maybe it'll inspire a future vlog. I guess this is a vlog. This is my vlog. So, Hollywood Stories. Thanks for watching. Peace.
This is dedicated to my girl.
What's up, baby?
All the girls all over the world.
What's up?